Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everyone.
This is Jovita, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to welcome everyone. This is our first LLN Lunch and Learn, and we are hoping that it's that we will have good participation and people will be willing to share a little bit of their New Year's traditions. And also, if any of you are interested in learning more about Latino Leadership Network, go ahead and reach out to one of us and we will get you connected. And with that, I will hand it over to Steve, who will continue with the PowerPoint presentation here.
Great, thanks, Jovita. And thanks for everyone for coming. Happy New Year, everybody. Feliz Año Nuevo. And I have up on the screen here, I have the slide with housekeeping notes. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Perfect. So I think what we say here is when people would like to share, to indicate so in the chat box here. Let me just go through these here. Put yourself on mute, please, unless you're speaking, so we don't have a lot of people speaking at the same time. Please share with your email with us in the chat room so we can recognize active members of LLN and can share the information with you for LLN in the future. Please use the chat feature to indicate you'd like to share with the group, and then we can call on you to share. Please limit maximum 5 minutes for stories to ensure all the interested parties have a chance to share. If possible, disconnect from VPN. This will help you to make sure that it doesn't freeze up the presentation. And we will be recording this event and it will be shared on our LLN YouTube channel. So with that being said, as I said, Happy New Year to everybody. It's 2021, we're what, 7th day in? So hopefully this one's going better than 2020. It's still kind of a slow start in that area, but there's only up to go. As Jovita said, this is the first event of 2021. I really enjoyed doing a little bit of research for this presentation and learning about the wide varieties of things people do to ring in the new year. Today, I'm looking forward to you sharing your favorite traditions and stories from your favorite New Year celebrations. These, being traditions and stories, are such an important part of life. They bring us together, closer to one another, and they can help us understand each other better. That's why we at the DEI subcommittee wanted to bring you together today. We'd like to hear your stories. What do you and your families do as a New Year's tradition? Do you have any favorite memories? So with that being said, let me open it up and I will see the chat here. And I see that we do have the emails starting. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
And Steve, I neglected to introduce you and Martha.
Oh, go for it.
So this is being put on by the LLN DEI subcommittee, and I am the chair, and Steve is my co-chair, and Martha is our member too of the committee. So if they want to, first I'll start with Healthcare Authority, Office of Tribal Affairs, and Steve and Martha can introduce themselves.
Yeah, thanks, Jovita. I'm from Steve, and I'm from DES. I'm a recruiter here at DES.
And my name is Marta Arana, and I work for the SHS in the Developmental Disability Administration. And as Jovita said, I'm a member of the DEI committee. And welcome everyone. Bienvenidos.
Thank you.
So who wants to kick us off?
I'd like to introduce myself.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm Rafael Lozano. I'm with the Washington State Department of Veterans Affairs. And it's a matter of fact, not coincidentally, that I'm in the role with LLN as recruitment and partnerships. So if any of you want to find out a little bit more about what we're all about, what LLN is all about, please reach out to me. My email is on the chat box, or just shoot me send me any chat down the road, and then I'll be glad to respond.
Thanks, Rafael.
Did you want to share your first slide, Steve?
Sure.
Maybe,
Yeah.
share a
Yeah,
tradition somewhere?
Yep. All right, so the first one I have from my research I did was Smash the Peppermint Pig. In upstate New York, they sell special peppermint pigs all throughout the holiday season. Everyone gets a turn to hit it with a special candy-sized hammer. So it's a little tiny hammer that comes with the pig. And eating a piece for good fortune in the coming year. The peppermint's very strong, so they'll only take a small piece, but at least you'll start the new year with fresh breath. Using a small metal mallet, each person at the table gives the pink porker a thwack and shares a story of their good fortune from the past year, which from this past year, 2020, might be a little bit tough. Once everyone has had a turn, the sack is dumped out and the piggy pieces are shared amongst the guests in the hopes of ushering in another new year of happiness and prosperity. This tradition is said to come from Sweden. I had never heard of it before. And it was definitely different for me, but who doesn't like candy, right? So that's the first one I have to share from my research.
Abby wants to share her story.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Abby Chavez, and I am the chair for LLN. So welcome to everybody that's here. And I guess my tradition for New Year's, it started a long time ago. Thanks, Marlene. But my mom and I, so my mom is from Guadalajara. And so the traditions that we would do is, you know, you use the broom to sweep out all the negativity from the house. And you do that right at midnight so that you get all of it out and you start the new year fresh. And the other one that I actually got to do with my daughters this year was you bury money a few minutes before midnight. And it could be, you know, $1. We typically try to use the $2 bills because you're not as likely to spend it. But you bury it a few minutes before and you unbury it after midnight. And you keep that dollar bill in your wallet at all times. And you will never be without money. Whether it's 15 cents, whether it's a penny, you will never be out of money. And that's something that I have done. Geez, I've been doing that, I think, over 20 years. And so it's kind of nice to be able to share that with my girls and that they're able to start doing that as well. So those are the traditions that we do on top of eating all the tamales that we made for Christmas.
How long ago did you share with them the tradition, the story of the tradition, Abby?
I did it just this year.
Just this year.
Yeah. Surprisingly, because they're 15 and 11, they've always kind of done their own thing, like up in their rooms on their phones and stuff. And so this is the first year that they were downstairs. And so I explained to them what I was doing, and they decided that they wanted to do the same thing because now they want to save up money to buy their own stuff.
And did they, so one's teen and one's almost in a few years teen. Did you have to convince and cajole them to do it, or were they pretty in with it to do it?
My 15-year-old, who is learning to drive and wants a car, as soon as I told her, like, you will never be without money if you do this, she was on board. She was like, wait, I only have a $20 bill. I'm like, all right, I'll give you a dollar bill and you can use that one. So now they know that they need to save up their money.
And now you guys have together, again, with the togetherness, you have a new tradition for all of you, right?
Yep. And it's something that I shared with my boyfriend and his kids because they aren't aware of the traditions. And so they were going to participate, but then we got caught up in like the fireworks that were going on. So maybe next year.
That's great. Thank you. I'd never heard that one. So that's great.
Yeah.
So let me go to my next slide here. All right. Keep the windows open and the doors too. It's commonplace practice that opening the doors and windows will let the old year out and the new year in unimpeded. This practice is done in the Philippines, in South Africa, and I believe I've heard that it may happen in Mexico too. So it's not just Philippines, South Africa. I think that those are just the two I found, but I think it's other places as well. In South Africa, they also do it. And I have in my notes here, we're out with the old and in with the new, as I'm sure we've all heard before, is taken literally. Some people toss furniture off their balconies and chairs out their windows. In ancient times, even prior to the Roman Empire, the worship of Janus, the spirit of doorways and archways, led to the word January, the first word in our current calendar. So I thought this was very interesting, all those historical aspects as well. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, with a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today, these, once we hear about them, they make a lot of sense about, oh, that's why people do this, to usher in the new year, to get rid of the bad things from last year and to bring in the good things for the coming year. And with that, who would like to share their next
We got
tradition?
Rafael that would like to share, and then Indira.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I'm originally from Colombia, South America, and back when I was in Colombia, we had some unique things. Some of them that I still observe today, even distance from my immediate family. The number one is that we usually don't go out. We actually have events in our homes, and we bring our families in and close friends. And to this day, when someone says, "What are you going to do for New Year's?" And they mention going here and going there, I kind of feel weird because it's just my aunt used to say one of the reasons why we really strict with staying home is because those who drink exceed drinking, and those who never drink drink. So when you go out, you put your life in your own hands. So maybe that's the deal why in Colombia you stay home so you can party all you want and have close relationships, do that bonding with the family. Another thing that is kind of funny is that when I was back then, I don't know if to this day still doing it, is we wear yellow underwear. And yellow underwear is supposed to bring good luck. The open door thing is also one of those things. And also, one thing that I remember distinctly is that tamales become a big deal. Food is a big deal, but the tamales, we used to really put a lot of energy on making tamales during the Christmas season, and we culminate that, of course, during the New Year's. And the last thing that I want to add that is probably new to all of you is unfortunate that I have different associated with different countries in South America. And my aunt came to be with us from Brazil for a while. And one thing that she introduced to us was on the 7th of January of every year, Los Reyes Magos, which is the wise men, come to the house at night. So it would be in the 12 o'clock last night, and leaves a sock. And this sock is your own sock. It's something that you wear, and puts candy in it and puts it under your bed for the kids, literally under the bed. That was pretty cool. I miss that. I wish somebody would put candy under my bed. But yep, that's my tale of my past experiences at home.
That's great, Rafael. Thank you. And so do people try to, on New Year's, do they try to get you to go out and you just?
Well, here in the States, it's a normal thing to go to
Right.
or something like that. And I don't go. I do not go. Nope.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thank you for sharing with us. And Indira, you wanted to share with us, is that correct?
Yes, thank you, Steve. And thank you, Rafael. One of my, so I'm originally from Venezuela, and before I start, I work for the Department of Enterprise Services, and I am the Health and Wellness Associate Chair for LLN. And so I was saying I'm originally from Venezuela, and we share traditions. Like with Rafael, we also have to wear yellow underwear for prosperity, but we do other stuff for prosperity too. One is we eat lentils at 12. We have to eat at least 2 spoonfuls of lentils. But we have to do so many things at 12, right? At 12 at midnight, between 31 and 1st. We also have to toast with something that is bubbling. It doesn't have to be, it has to be bubbling something. And we also, the other thing that we do is you hug your family, but if you want to find love, then you hug, the first person that you hug has to be the person that you want to find a partner. So it could be a female or a male. That's very important if you want to find, a partner, a love partner. Then we have the other one is grapes. We have 12 grapes that we have to eat, and each grape means you make a wish. So you make a wish for the planet, for your family, for money, for whatever it is that you want to wish. But you have 12 grapes. But all of that is happening to everything at 12. So, like, and then after you do all of that, if you want to travel during that upcoming year, you bring your luggage, you carry on or whatever, you put clothes on it. And if you want to travel abroad, you bring your passport and money. So you have any dollars, imagine, living in my country. If I have $1 bill, I will use that dollar bill and I will keep it. And usually, so our Christmas it's a tropical place. So it's not cold at all. It's really hot. So you can be in a dress and then you have to, find out where to put that dollar bill and that passport and then run, in your neighborhood with your, whatever it is, because you want to, and then you envision where you want to travel and want to travel, whatever place. So those are the fun things that we do, are traditions in my country, and there are more. Like if you want to find a partner, then your underwear is red, and then you climb into a chair with your left foot first. So it's a lot of crazy things that happen because my country is very magic religious type of country. So I just have a lot of fun and a lot of good memories from those, traditions, funny traditions. Yeah.
How many of the traditions do you carry on to this day?
Oh, that's a good one. So because I'm here, it's cold, and it's usually extremely cold for me to go out and run with the luggage. I have kept the hugging. So I hug my partner. So I hug my husband, right? I want to keep with him. I usually wear an underwear of color and I toast. So I keep the bubbling part. Yeah. The lentils, not so much. And as Abby, we also clean the house. So it was really fun because it was funny and an anecdote. I think that I have another minute. On this week, on this 31st, we went skiing and we were all super tired, but I was cleaning the house after skiing because the house has to be clean before the first year, right? So I was like cleaning all over. And then my husband is telling my kid, for India, it's very important to have this holiday. And my kid answered, oh, is it because she has to clean the house?
That's their takeaway, right?
He was a 7-year-old. That's what he learned. That's the most important part for me.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, great stories. Do we have anyone else that wants to share? I know we lost someone to another meeting, so if anyone else wants to share.
I could go to, as we get
stories.
the next brave soul. Let me go to the next slide. And I believe this tradition is from Mexico. Pick the right potato.
Mm-hmm.
But also it's in Colombia and Peru. So in Colombia and Peru, where potatoes were first grown 10,000 years ago, some believe putting 3 potatoes underneath your bed for New Year's Eve. One unpeeled, one half peeled and one completely peeled. And then at midnight, without looking, you have to reach under your bed and to grab the first potato that your hand bumps into. If you reach under there and it's no peeling on it, you're going to be pelado, broke, poor. If you grab one that's going to be halfway peeled, halfway not, it's all going to be okay for next year. And if the skin is all the way on it, then you're going to have a lot of money in your future. So that's one that I found that from the website from Colombia and Peru. And from the reactions, that wasn't one from Mexico, but rather just Colombia and Peru.
Thanks, Steve. Those are really interesting to hear. So we would love to hear more stories from people that have joined us, if you feel comfortable sharing. Go ahead, Martha.
Okay. So we don't have in my family just like one tradition that we do each year. I was born in Michoacan, Mexico, and then we moved to Nayarit. And the only thing that I remember that we'll do is like none of this. It was just getting together with family, food, and we will break a piñata before midnight, just for the kids to have fun. So I don't remember any of them doing anything of this. But when we moved to the United States, when we started like grabbing all these different traditions from people that will do it around us, like, friends and other family members that have been here longer and maybe neighbors. And so my family, we did the color underwears, red for love, the yellow and the green, but also the luggage, like going out of at midnight with your luggage, going out and in. So that means like if your plan is to travel during the year, that will be accomplished because you are doing that. Recently, what I started doing is I opened the door at midnight, and that is to welcome the new year. Because I read if you open the door to let out the old year, you are kind of a pessimist. But if you open the door to welcome the new year, you're a positive person. You're bringing positivity to your life. So I started doing that. I opened the door and I just say like welcome new year, like stuff like that. So, but yeah, so that's my kind of my new tradition. With my girls, the only thing we have done is eating the 12 grapes. When it's at midnight, we will get out the grapes, or we will have it ready, like in a cup. And then at midnight, we will just eat them and then make a wish with each one of them. So that's one of the traditions that we kind of doing it more often. But we don't have just one set tradition like some people do. So it's just like changing, I think, during the years.
So you're saying that you don't necessarily have to do the same thing year by year.
Exactly. I don't necessarily have to do it year by year.
Which kind of makes it nice, right? Because some
Yeah.
people, especially if you have kids again of teenage years, they might be, here we go again, same thing.
Yeah. So I kind of like now the opening the door at midnight, just to bring the positive vibes for the
Yeah.
whole.
No, I like that, and I really like what you said about the pessimism and optimism. If you're pessimistic, it's about forget about that last year. But if we want optimism in the coming year, it's like bring it on, new year. What do you have for me? I want I want great stuff in the new year. And yeah, I think that's fantastic. And I thought, Indira, when you were speaking on yours, and Abby, you mentioned also about the sweeping and cleaning. I thought to myself of what I had heard as a kid. It's not New Year's, but it's spring cleaning, and it's I think it's the same thing. right? It's about kind of ushering in something new and kind of metaphorically reducing the clutter and allowing new great things into our life. And those are very positive things. I like it. So my next slide here, and forgive me because there will be a couple of them that will be repeated from things that people have said. So in Brazil, offer boats for blessings. Brazilian worshippers of Yamanha, African and Brazilian goddess of the sea and the moon. They celebrate by dressing in white and offering flowers and launching boats, large and small, all sizes, into the ocean during the final days of the year in exchange for blessings in the new year. If the goddess Yamanya grants your wish or accepts your offering, her waves will swallow the miniature boat. If she denies the wish, the boat will come back to you. So in other words, if you put that boat in the ocean, you hope that it sinks under and you don't see it again. So I thought that's really cool too.
Can I share mine? Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm Julia, and I was born in Lima, Peru. And then every Christmas time, my mom makes Peruvian hot chocolate. And it's really tasty because she makes it with like chocolate squares. You make it with chocolate squares, and then you put like real milk in there so it's nice and thick. She makes a big pot of it. We have that Christmas Eve, and then for New Year's, we do the grapes, the green grapes of 12. So then you make the wish like for every month of something good that you want to happen that month for the 12 months of the year.
And these are traditions that you had in the past that you carry on to this day.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. The grapes. Let me ask a question because I've heard it 2 times now. Does the color of the grapes matter?
Green.
Green.
Green ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I did hear another question, a follow up here, of the undergarments color. I've heard yellow, I've heard red, but then I heard green. What's the green for? Money? Or no, yellow is for money. What's green?
I think some people are muted.
I can't remember. I think it was health. I'm not sure.
Health.
Yeah, I think
there was one for health.
Yeah, I don't remember. There's multiple colors.
Yeah.
And it's funny because if you Google like New Year's and like underwear colors, there's a lot out there. I thought it was just like a Mexican tradition, but apparently it's not. So you can find all the different colors.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I have to say that I was born in Mexico, but raised here, and I heard about the grapes, but a lot of these are totally new to me. So it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
That there's so many Latin traditions that I've never heard about.
The next one I have here is actually a Japanese one. Every year at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve, Buddhist temples all over Japan ring their bonsho, that's temple bells, and even 108 times, 107 times before midnight, and once the clock turns midnight. This number represents the number of human desires that a person experiences, according to the Buddhist tradition, throughout the course of their life. And according to the Buddhist faith, they lead to these 108 desires lead to pain and suffering. Joya no Kane is just how I'm going to say it. It's a ritual meant to cleanse away problems and worries from the previous year. So again, we can see that the similarities of, out with the old, in with the new sort of mentality.
You just reminded me of something, Steve, that
Sure.
so I'm half Mapuche, half Quechua. And one of the things we do is we do the burning of the sage around the house and inside the house for protection and cleansing for the new season, the new year. So we do that as well too.
And say that again, the 2 words you said, Quechua and?
Mapuche. There's an indigenous group in Chile.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's great. And we have in our house, we have the sage, and then we have the wooden stick. I'm not sure what it is, but it's probably something very similar. It's for smudging as well.
Um, sorry, this is Ernesto. I didn't hear, I didn't recognize who is half Mapuche, half Quechua.
Julia.
Okay, Julia, nice to meet you. I'm Ernesto. I'm from Chile. I'm also half Mapuche.
Oh, hola,
And,
hola, Ernesto.
and the rest
Nosotros
is
Mapuche.
merely, yes, I did my DNA, and I'm very strong Mapuche and a lot of other natives.
I have my flag. I should go get my flag. I'll be right back.
I have a shirt.
Somebody put Palo Santo. I'm not sure what that is. It's in the chat.
I think that's the stick that Stephen was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's right. Yep, it's right. Palo Santo. Yep, that's the one.
Oh, and Julia's sharing the flag. Oh, there it is.
There we go. That's Chile's flag, huh?
That's cool.
Is that Chile's flag or the
Mapuche flag, the
Mapuche.
indigenous
Oh, okay.
people of Mapuches in Chile. Oh, so good to meet you, Ernesto. Un otro chileno.
Yeah.
And Ernesto, that's a perfect opportunity. As you corresponded with me in the email, would you like to share with us?
Well, I wanted to, but I think all the fun traditions have been shared, and and that's fine. I learned some good ones for me. And growing up, so the lentils, I hated lentils. Now I love them, but my grandma used to shove them. It was back in Chile. It was 12
Shove them in your
spoons.
mouth.
Yeah, you had to eat according to the tempo in the clock that was kind of doing the 12 rungs in during the midnight celebration. So that was pretty challenging to me, but luckily it didn't vaccinated me against lentils, and I love them today. And what I want to share also is something funny that when I got married, my wife, it's been only almost 40 years actually this year that we've been married with my wife, and she was born on December 31st. So the tradition is kind of a conflict there because we definitely want to celebrate her, and our children, for them, it's more important celebrating mom than the new year. So we do follow a lot of different things every year. But thank you all for sharing, and you gave me some good ideas. And about the underwear, that's going to be tough for me because for men, they only have plain whites,
Right.
or gray or black, and that's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So we'll figure something out for next year, and we'll share. We'll share, I mean, what happened, not pictures or anything like that. But I'll try to bring back the lentils and the grapes. That was very traditional in Chile because, like in Washington State, we produce a lot of grapes, lots of vineyards, and wine is brought from there. So,
very true.
Feliz año para todos y todas.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks,
Victor, you put a comment in here that you have Italian friends who also ate lentils. I'm not sure where Victor sat on my screen. Is really small here, but do you want to elaborate on that a little bit more?
No, not particularly. That was.
Sorry, you don't have to if you don't feel comfortable.
No, it's not that. Just that I didn't have more to add than that.
Oh, okay.
I find it interesting that Italy and South American nations are not close together. So I find it interesting that those traditions were across continents.
For
interesting. Sure. I never heard about lentils, so I'll have to look that up. Marlene, you wanted to share. Did we lose Marlene?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking back. So I grew up in Mexico and then moved here when I was 8. So growing up, my grandma would, like, underneath her stairwell at her house, she would, like, it was like a giant, it was like a big space, but what she would do is like take all these like little trinkets and then create like this giant nativity scene. and it was like a whole like the town like leading to the nativity scene, and then she would like do the rivers and stuff with yeah, it was like crazy. It was like intense. And so we grew up, all the cousins grew up like always playing underneath the stairwell, and grandma yelling at us to like stop, like don't touch the nativity scene. And then I was like Googling some traditions, like Mexican traditions. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, we used to do all these. So like my grandpa used to like feed all of us rompope. Yeah, that's.
What's rompope?
Rompope is like, what is rompope? It's like,
eggnog, like a
it's
Mexican
eggnog.
eggnog.
Oh, okay.
But it has
yeah,
rum, I
it also,
think.
yes, it has alcohol in it.
It has rum or something in it. It's really
yeah.
good.
Like my grandpa used to feed us that, like he used to give us that, and we were like 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Like that's intense. Looking back, I'm like, whoa, that explains a lot now.
It was to make you sleepy and go to bed.
I feel like most drinks have alcohol in it though, because we used to make chocolate de la abuelita.
Yeah.
And when I was a teenager, my mom would throw it in a blender to get it all frothy and everything. She would put tequila in it. And so that's the only way I drink it now, because I don't like milk, is chocolate de la abuelita, which is hot chocolate with tequila.
I've never heard of that, but sounds delicious.
Right. It's like, I'll try it. Right.
Yeah.
It's not like you're not going to try it. Huh.
Wow. I'm learning new stuff. This is
right.
So cool.
Yeah, that's excellent. Thanks, Marlene.
Hot cocoa with rum, Victor says.
No,
yeah,
when it's
sorry, I was going to say the nativity scene is really huge in Mexico too. I actually have friends and family in Mexico and friends on Facebook, and they've been posting their nativity scenes. And I think they take them down today because they leave them up till January 6th, which is the Reyes Magos Day, or the Day of the Kings. But yes, some people get very elaborate and really go all out for that.
I don't know. We put up a Festivus poll in front, if anyone's familiar with Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You know about the airing of the grievances in Festivus.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. And I think again to reference the past year, I think that there were grievances, lots of grievances in 2020.
Yes.
Let me go to my next slide here. Oh, we had this one already. Run around the block with your luggage.
Yep.
And this one was also eat 12 grapes and make 12 wishes. Now, this one I wanted to ask a question about because something I found in my Google research that there were a couple websites that said to do it in 12 seconds. That to me sounds really intense as far as having to do 12 of them. So can anybody confirm or deny that?
It should be 1 minute.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think it's actually, and this is Flora, by the way. I don't think it's actually a descripted like time, but you're supposed to do it. Like, I think somebody mentioned like the sound of the clock. For my family, we did it at the sound of the bells, because as soon as it's midnight, they start ringing the bells. So you kind of just eat one after the other one. So I wouldn't say it's 12 seconds, but it is pretty quick. You better chew fast.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons I stopped doing it, because as it was 12 seconds, like you just have to eat it one after another. And it was, oh no, this is too much. So
right.
Yeah, in a minute, that makes more sense to me than 12 seconds.
No, for sure. And the thing I think of there, and with, again, the commonality of so many of these things is kind of intention, right? Or setting intentions. So like in 12 seconds, you really don't have time to think about what those grapes represent and what you want in the next year. But if it's a little slower, we can think about what it is that these grapes, what we're thinking about and what we want to usher in the next year. Flora, you said in the one second, hold that thought. Indira, you had your hand up several minutes ago.
Sorry, I was before. I already spoke.
I know.
Oh. No, it's okay. It's okay.
All right. Flora, you mentioned at a meeting our dry run meeting, you mentioned that your family had a lot of traditions. Is that right?
Yeah, I think most of them have already been mentioned, right? So, and I really meant what I said on the chat about a madhouse, because they're trying to do everything within that first minute, right? So it's 12:01. So it is the grapes and trying to eat 12 grapes, 12 wishes. It is the suitcase, like grabbing the suitcase and going around the block. It is the color underwear. It's mainly red and yellow for my family, so money and love. Let me think. One of the things I have not heard other people said is that whatever you're doing at midnight, that's the thing that you're gonna do for the rest of the year. So my parents used to say like, don't be mad at midnight, because if you know you're gonna be mad for the rest of the year, like you need to be happy. If not, you're gonna have a bad year. So yeah, and
I slept through this New Year, so
oh no. And I think for my family, we try to have a mixture of old traditions and then new traditions. Like we do apple cider at midnight. So it's like apple cider, and then you do the grapes, and then you start sweeping things out the door. I have not done the suitcase. I think Martha was saying like you don't have to do everything every single year. You kind of pick and choose. And this year, because of the pandemic, I don't foresee myself traveling anywhere. So no suitcase. But just picking and choosing which ones you want to concentrate. But definitely, I have a lot of traditions within my family.
Thank you, Flora. And Jovita, you had a great segue you asked the question about anybody from European countries. My heritage is from, a lot of it's from Germany, actually on both sides. My maternal and paternal sides are both Germany. Unfortunately, it hasn't carried on in the things I do, but here we go. From Germany is Berliner. Does anybody speak German here? Okay, here. So you're not going to know that I'm messing up. Berliner.
Wiedersehen.
What's that?
Guten Tagen. Auf Wiedersehen.
Guten Tag, right. Berliner Pfannkuchen. It's jelly-filled donuts. This is from Germany. Although they're generally available year-round, German bakeries bake up extra amounts of these jelly donuts for New Year's. These German-style donuts usually have jelly in the middle, but in a practical joke or twist, a few random Berliner may have a surprise taste of mustard or onions rather than jelly. So that's from my heritage background of Germany. Although I'd never heard of this before. So, and I guess and of course you're going to know about these, but the ones that I knew about growing up were watching the TV, watching the Dick Clark's TV, the ball drop, and I'm gonna have that as a slide. I knew about toasting something, Abby, as you said, toasting something carbonated. So as a kid, we had the Martinelli apple cider, and now it's champagne. I think I heard about the one of kissing people. I heard just this year, I heard that someone said that on New Year's, and this is, again, it's weird because it's COVID, but he said, oh, now we're not gonna get to make out with strangers. But I'd never heard of that before, where people just start kissing someone they don't even know. But I guess
I've actually seen that when the ball drops, there's thousands of people there, and I've heard that they'll kiss strangers and stuff, which I'm like, I don't know about that. But
I don't know about that either.
But that's the Latino culture. I know with the Latinos, it's
Yeah.
like you kiss each other, greet each other with a kiss on the cheek, stuff like that. So.
Right. So it's kind of different than that, than someone saying making out. Different kind of kiss. But yeah, that's those are the traditions that that I've had and heard. Um, the lentils is something that I heard also in doing the research here. Um, and that's for prosperity, lentils for prosperity. And the differences, there's two of them. One would be to get the raw lentil or the dried lentils and put them in your pocket for prosperity. And then the other one is to eat them. Now, I didn't hear anything about eating them in a certain frequency. Um, so that's good, but that's to say that we actually did for this year. We cooked lentils because my wife and I live in a mostly vegan. We eat mostly vegan here, and so we eat all vegetables. So we ate something called or made something called lots of lentil soup. It's with lentils, spinach, tomato sauce. It's fantastic. Anybody wants a recipe, I'll give it to them. But yeah, it was kind of neat that to learn about these traditions and take that one. And one, it's delicious, and number two, I mean, which one of us is going to turn down prosperity, right? So it's like, okay. So
Yeah.
that was kind of cool that we did that this year.
Yeah. Steve, do you want to run through your other slides?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
This one here is another it's from Japan, another one. Hatsunode is how I'm going to say it. It's the first sunrise of the new year and is practiced in Japan. People gather on mountaintops, observatories, beaches, and anywhere else with a good view of the horizon to catch the Hatsune and pray for good fortune and happiness in the coming year. I like it. And then the last one we have here is the ball drop. And a little history about it is, in the US, the most iconic New Year's tradition is the dropping of a giant ball in Times Square, of course at midnight. Millions of people around the world watch the event, which has taken place almost every year since 1907. Over time, the ball itself has ballooned from something it started, when this started, this was interesting to me. It started out as a 700-pound iron and wood, and today it weighs 12,000 pounds. So it's gone from 700 pounds to 12,000 pounds. It kind of goes along with everything else in US culture. It's like, big. Everything's very, very big and giant. Various towns and cities across America have developed their own versions of the Times Square ritual, organizing public drops of things ranging from pickles in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, to possums in Tallapoosa, Georgia, at midnight on New Year's Eve. So people like to drop things on New Year's.
Did anyone see Jennifer Lopez's presentation just a few minutes before the Times Square ball drop this year, past year? It was really good. She did a lot of her old songs, new songs. It was really good.
No, I heard that I've seen through my Google notifications that Cyndi Lauper did something that it was like beyond terrible. It's like ridiculous.
Sorry to interrupt, Steve. I think we've had some new people join in the last few minutes, and I don't know if they would like to share their traditions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also just remind everyone that we are being recorded to post this on the YouTube page for LLN. So if anyone that has joined us in the last few minutes that wants to share their traditions, you are more than welcome to do that. Do you have anybody? No.
If nobody else wants to share, I want to share the food that we eat on New Year. For New Year, the traditional food is pozole and tacos, but tacos not like the asada and stuff like that. We do more like cabeza or baracoa or something like that. But pozole is our main food for New Year.
And tamales.
Is tamales for Christmas or New Year's? Or both?
Both.
It's for both.
For every excuse
Christmas
that we get, we just say tamales.
That too.
Yeah.
And for the tamales, is it a certain kind of tamales or any kind?
Any kind.
I think it depends on where you're from.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have Yvonne that wants to share, so before we run out of time.
Absolutely, Yvonne.
Let's give
Hi,
Yvonne.
everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Well, my name is Yvonne Rivera, and I am the administrator at the Community Service Office, which is with DSHS. And I've been with the state for, I guess, 23 years here in Washington and 7 in Oregon. So thank you for having me here. I didn't want to share because I'm not a big sharer on everybody watching me, and now it's being recorded. But I do have a family tradition that we did in Mexico. I was born here in LA, United States, but then my sister behind after me and before me, they were both born in Guadalajara. So we moved back to Mexico, and we were raised there for probably until I was 7 years old. And my grandma loves to make tradition down there was the posada was big. And so we were always in the posada, especially when you're little, you always want the little kids in the front. And so I remember that, and knocking at every door. And of course, you have the tradition of the songs, and we love them. And it always, in Guadalajara, it was called the Colonia and the Independencia. That's the streets that we lived in. And my grandma made bollos. I don't know if you guys know what the bollos are. They're
Oh, the bread.
yes.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
were filled with candies, and she would make a lot of them for all the kids in the blocks. And then of course my uncle with my aunt, they made the piñatas, and of course the pasteles. Oh my gosh, they made tall cakes. And every night we did break a piñata, but the biggest party was where everybody got the bollos. And the traditions was we had pozole. That was big. And the biggest thing for us also was Dia de los Reyes, where we would put hay or straw outside on our windows or right outside the doors. And that was for the camels, for giving the kings can give the their camels some food for their long trip. And in return, we would have underwears and that kind of stuff. Stuff that would provide us for our schools, or supplies. It wasn't toys per se. It was more of underwears, books, pencils, crayons, and stuff like that. But anyways, that's what I could remember. So thank you so much for sharing. Oh, champuro was
Oh
huge.
yeah,
We had a lot
champurrado.
of champurrado. Yeah, there you go. And we would just help make them, like
Yes.
with the stick. It was so yummy and delicious. And the the corn, the bread was not corn, was a big bread. And we would take out the middle, and we would put frijoles, just barely made frijoles, and that's what we ate every morning for Christmas times. So anyways, thank you for letting me
Delicious.
share.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Yvonne.
thanks. Yeah.
I put it in the chat, but I just want to say thank you to everyone that joined us and participated. And I think this was a success, and it was very interesting. It probably needed more time so more people could share. But I just want to say thank you to Steve and Martha and Flora and everyone that Indira that made this possible and helped us out. And we look forward to having this, the recording available on YouTube. And I tried to catch emails on the chat, but if you want more information, like I said, reach out to one of us in LLN and we'll give you more information. Steve, Martha, does anyone else have any parting words?
I have a concluding sentence. Martha, do you have anything?
Okay.
No, just wanted to say thank you to everyone for sharing your stories. It was really interesting. It was getting new ideas for coming years. So thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. No, I really enjoyed it too, listening to everybody, learning, coming together. As part of the DEI committee and someone who's fully committed to inclusiveness, I'd be remiss if I didn't share this with you. When I was doing my bit of research for the slides I put up today, many of the headlines on Google I did, when I searched, the search was New Year's traditions around the world. It came up with things like weird, odd, or crazy customs people do around New Year's. Pause, pause, pause. Traditions and customs are not weird. They are rich, full of history, and again, they help to bring us together. So rather than viewing these things as weird, strange, or odd, I mean, we have to reject those things. That's none of these things are weird or odd. They are all positive. They bring us together and they make us more as we are as humans. Let them be an opportunity to learn about each other and what brings us and our loved ones together with joy and connection. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that. That's great. So again, thank you to everyone and Happy New Year. And hopefully 2021 is going to be better
Yes.
for
Yes.
everyone.
Thank you.
But I see a lot of people have to go to other meetings. So thank you again. And we look forward to hearing any comments or suggestions from anyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you guys. Bye bye. Have another
Bye.
meeting.
Thank you.